Investigators in Israel are looking into what caused what you're seeing there, a stampede that killed dozens of people at a religious festival overnight. Tens of thousands of Orthodox Jews were gathered in Mount Meron for the annual celebrations that included all-night prayer and dance. At least 45 people were killed and more than 100 others injured. Iris Mackler joins us now in Jerusalem with more. Iris, thanks for joining us. What is the latest?
John, the latest is that in fact, all of the wounded have been brought down from the mountain, despite the huge overcrowding there, which police and rescue services did hinder their work. They were quite quick at getting them down using choppers and so forth. But now what we see is enormous confusion because people can't find their loved ones. And that includes children in hospital who don't know where their parents are, and of course, vice versa. So people have started doing that dispiriting round from hospital to hospital. And then when you can't find your loved one in hospital, you go to the morgue. There is one good story about a family that did that looking for their son, and at the morgue, they got the good news that he was at home. But there aren't many stories like that. And there is also now the start of the funerals. In Judaism, they tend to bury very quickly. They could bury tonight if it was an ordinary day, but it's the Jewish Sabbath. So we see now funerals starting to get it in before sunset, before the Jewish Sabbath. So still just over 12 hours after the event, a great deal of confusion and chaos.
This as the Prime Minister visited the site and said he will investigate this thoroughly. But at this stage, do we have an idea of what might have caused the disaster?
It's interesting. There were confused reports initially. There was a suggestion that a stand fell down with people on it. But when you look at the video, you see that's not the case. It was overcrowding in this narrow passageway leading to the grave of the sage that they like to pray there particularly. I have heard that there were cries out against the Prime Minister when he arrived, saying, "You've abandoned us and you didn't look after us." I feel that that might not actually be so fair. It's very, very hard to organise, 100,000 people. Any religious event like this is very hard to police. But there is a suggestion that I've heard in the past hour that actually the police set up a block, if you like, a gate at the bottom of those stairs to stop people entering in huge numbers, but that was where people fell and that's where the stampede happened. So there's a feeling of blame for the police, and the investigation that the Prime Minister has called will have to look into all of that.
Thank you, Iris. Iris Mackler reporting from Jerusalem.